Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our live studio show here on MXGP-TV.com with myself and Lisa Leyland. Our first guest, Dylan Walsh, is in the house, but we also have on the show this weekend Jeremy Seawer and Giacomo Garibaldi from Team HRC. But before we go anywhere, Miss Leyland.
Yes, Mr. Malin.
We just had a week off.
Yeah.
We came to the end of our 3 in a row in France, but it starts again all over again this weekend here in Russia.
Yeah, but it's not because we're by the Black Sea. You've got the nice weather. I've got my sunblock on. It's almost like a holiday feel, isn't it? Almost.
Don't be deceived. We've got Latvia and Germany the next 2
weeks.
weeks.
That's true. I'm not going to speak too soon, but it's good to start off here, isn't it?
It is.
So,
well, it's our first guest is in Dylan Walsh, Revo Husqvarna UK. Dylan, how about that weather, mate?
Yeah, it's hot. It's really hot, but now it's good. It's got the vacation vibes, but yeah, the weekend's racing, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, look, first time on the show for you. Have you prepared a song for us? Because normally when you're first on, you have to do a initiation ceremony.
It's tradition.
You see, I'll save that one for New Zealand's Got Talent. I've got to bring out all the cards for that one.
Well, look, anyway, the last time we saw you in France, you were being used as Maxime Renault's landing ramp in the qualifying race. How are you feeling after that? Are you all good? Because I think we have the clip here, actually.
No, I'm good, actually. I got pretty lucky, but...
It's coming up. Carry on.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I just wanted to help a friend out, but no, it's all right. I got off pretty lucky.
Yeah, what actually happened? Because it looked like you made a slight mistake in the left-hander at the top of the hill, got offline, and he was almost already committed coming up now.
Yeah, the inside rut, it was difficult anyway. No one was doubling, but I did make a little mistake, and then I didn't think he was going to jump to the middle, but it happens.
Yeah, well, it seems like you can't even buy a break at the moment. You look like the kind of person this year that if you went to the good luck store, you walk in there and they say, what do you want? I want to buy some luck. Sorry, mate, we're all out of luck this weekend. Do you feel that way at the moment? Or,
no, it definitely feels that way, and but I'm in one piece, and I'm learning. Yeah, my rookie year, so I'm learning every weekend, but I just... stick with it will make me a better person, I guess.
But it hasn't all been that bad, though, has it? I mean, there has been times where you've shown what you're capable of. You clearly have the speed, but what do you need to do to harness that?
Yeah, it's tough. I've had good races, bad races, but I think I just need to start the Saturdays better. And just qualify better so I can run up front and stay out of all the carnage.
Obviously, you have been running up front, not on more than one occasion, but when you're there in that position, you get a good start. How do you feel at that point? Because I know it's a lot easier being there than it is fighting through the back and picking yourself up off the deck week in, week out.
Yeah, it's definitely, you get a good start and you just latch on with the front couple of boys, and before you know it, you're almost at the end of the race and you're still up there, so it's a lot easier than coming through the traffic and trying to fight your way.
Yeah.
Well, it's your first year in MX2. What are your thoughts on it? Is the competition harder than you thought? Is your fitness not up there, or are you just feeling unlucky at the moment? And what is it?
Yes, a bit of all of them, really. I didn't expect it to be so deep. Everyone's so close, and I thought I was fit in the preseason, but running that new speed for 35 minutes is tough, and just a bit of bad luck, but I feel like it's not been too bad. Just try to get more consistent.
Do you think actually when you wildcarded in Germany last year, you had was it in the qualifying race where you're 8th or 9th, or in the first race, do you think that was almost like one of those situations where you went, yes, MX2 is easy, and then
they teased me because I got 8th or 9th, but I crashed twice, and it was easy days. I was like, I want to move up, but then I go to Argentina, it's just smack in the face, no, it's not like that.
No, it's not easy. What about here though, Russia? Are you looking forward to being here, because you've been here twice, like all of us, but in the MX250, podium twice, got a race win as well. Your kind of track?
Yeah, I don't know. I just love coming here, really. It's a good track. I've actually had a lot of luck here. The first year I came, I did the first moto of 20 minutes with a rear flat tyre and got on the podium. So I like it here, and I always enjoy coming back. So hopefully get 2 solid motos in and leave happy.
Well, because you race for a British team, you're also racing the British Championship, aren't you?
Yes.
How's that going? Because you took the red plate last weekend, didn't you?
Yes, it's that's also a big learning curve because it's 8 rounds, so every single weekend we're racing and all the tracks are different, but it's going pretty good so far. Yeah, I got the red plate in the weekend, so 4 rounds to go. Hopefully can keep it.
And how are you finding that, actually? Because since you've been over in Europe, you've been living in sort of Belgium and Holland on and off and things like that. Spending more time in England, or are you still splitting your time between the two?
No, I'm based out of Lommel, and when I have a British, I'll go there the week early, and I'll stay off the team and just gel with the team, and then we'll go to the race. But it's pretty good.
And do you enjoy being in England, though?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Just going and getting some like normal food and go to the supermarket, talk to someone. It's pretty good.
It sounds like therapy. I'm going to go to the supermarket today just to talk to somebody.
Do you not have any friends in Lommel then?
No, I do, but it's just like
just check out people.
When you walk around, you're like, it's everyone's speaking different language. You zone out, and then I go to the supermarket in English, like, oh. Everyone's speaking English, like
excited.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan. Well, we have a question for you on social media. This one's from MX Justin, and he says, "Who are your favourite Kiwi sportsmen, whether in motocross, motorsport, or non-motorsport?"
It's definitely going to be Josh and Ben, Josh Coppins, Ben Townley, because they've helped me out a lot trying to get here and giving me advice and checking if I'm staying on the right road, so it's got to be those two.
And what about British sports people? Since you were born there. He's like, I don't know any of those.
Well, I'm just saying Tommy.
Tommy,
yeah. It's got to be Tommy.
Okay. We've got about a minute left. What are your overall goals then for this year? Because as it has been up and down, I guess you're looking for a bit of consistency and looking to finish the second half strong? Yeah,
I just want to put 2 motos together. And be consistently top 10, bagging top 5s, because I guess my last year next year, so I want to come out good next year, so I want to get all the rookie mistakes out and come out strong next year.
So how much of this then is a real big learning curve for you for next year?
Yeah, it's big. It's all of it. I just want to soak in as much as I can, and by the end, just be consistent and be one of those top guys.
All right. Well, look, we are out of time, but Dylan Walsh, Revo Husqvarna UK, thanks for being our guest here today. Our next guest is in the building, actually, Jeremy Seawer. We'll talk to him in just a moment, but before we do, let's take a look at some of the highlights from France 2 weeks ago. Here's MX2 Race 2. Doesn't take a genius these days to work out who hits the foxhole shot line first, and once again it was the 61. This time, foxhole shot number 9 for Jorge Prado. Brian Moreau made a much better start and managed to keep it on 2 wheels for the first lap. Vial, though, he fell. Picked himself up, rejoined the race, but it wouldn't be the first time we would see the Frenchman on the floor. Bas Varson also made a good start, was inside the top 10. Once again, just like race 1, the 19 of Thomas Olsen was having a charge through, found his way past Maxime Renault. That was Vial's second mistake of the race. Watson, though, was running up in second place, this time being closely followed by his teammate, the race 1 winner, Jago Geerts. By lap 8, the Belgian was all over the Brit, and he made a neat pass at the top of one of the hills. Watson, though, wasn't taking it lying down, forced back down the inside of the Belgian, but Geerts had better corner speed and made sure of the pass this time around. The question was, though, could he do anything about Jorge Prado? The 29 of Jacobi had one of those races, eventually coming home in 17th, as the 19 continued to push on. This time past Moreau. Moreau responded immediately. These two were fighting for 6th and 7th at the time. Number 43, Mitch Evans of Australia, got himself onto the rear wheel of Watson as they battled over 3rd. But up front, Jorge Prado was slowly being caught again by Geerts, but he lost the front. He went down, but he didn't give up. And he continued to push and close in on the race leader as Olsen had to settle for 5th on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. It was a solid day at the office for the 193 of Jago Geerts, but Jorge Prado seemed to have race 2 all under control. It was he who crossed the line for his 11th race win of the season. He took the overall from Jago Geerts and Thomas Olsen. Prado now has a 14-point lead over Olsen. It was 3 before we came here to France. Your podium here this weekend then, Jorge Prado, Jago Geerts and Thomas Olsen. The Spaniard continues to hold the red plate as we head to Russia. Hello everybody, welcome back to our live studio show here on MXGP-TV. It's round 8 of the FIM Motocross World Championship and it's the PATRON MXGP of Russia. Here we are in Orlenok. Our second guest joins us, Jeremy Seewer from Monster Energy Yamaha. Jeremy, how are you? Welcome to the show. Talk about the championship briefly. You're 6th in points at the moment. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, of course, especially after the start we had, with my lung infection, where it was tough to compete and to go back racing after missing quite a bit of time in the preparation and lost all my strength and physical condition, So now I'm back where I want to be, and being 16 points is actually fine considering my first few races, struggling a bit,
I know how riders can be analytical of their own performances. I was just checking out this week. So we just had 7 rounds in the championship. This stage last year, you were 9th with 155 points. This year, 3 places higher, you've scored 29 points more. When you look at things like that, or when you hear things like that, yes, it's positive in some respects, I guess?
Yeah, for sure, it's positive. I mean, the numbers say it all, even though, like I just mentioned, I struggled in the beginning and actually started off the season with worse results than I did last year, so that means... yeah, I did a good job and I'm on a good way to reach my goals, which is this year, to be in the top 5. And now I think with 7 GPs in, it's just about the time where it really starts, I mean, like, of course we had 7 races, but it's still long to go and it's about being consistent and strong all year. And this is going to be the key now. Yeah.
Well, last year you finished 6th on 3 occasions. In France and Portugal, you finished 5th. Tell us about Portugal. What was that race like for you?
It was actually kind of like the first race I could really, be back myself, as I knew, I could race. And I was really pleased with how I felt. My fitness was back after the long break we had. The 5 weeks break, of course Mantua was a bit different with the mud, so that was kind of the first race I was back on my normal level. I was really pleased also with the bike, we made some good changes, some good testing, and I could kind of catch up and showed it on the track, a bit of bad luck in the second race, last lap costed me like a 4th overall, but overall it was still one of the best races I've had on a 450 for sure.
Well, you did finish 4th in race 1. Was that like a psychological win for you, like a mental barrier where you thought, okay, right, I'm at that next level now, the top 3 is in sight?
Of course it helps, to finish, well, for your confidence and stuff. But I kind of knew before that when everything goes as I wanted to go, because I knew it wasn't perfect before, I struggled on several points, that I could do better, and finally, okay, I could manage to do it, and this for sure helps to build up, and yeah, it's good to see, how close the 450 class is. Of course, mostly there is 1, 2, maximum 3, guys being a bit stronger, but for all the rest, it's open, It's a big fight between place 3, 4, and I don't know, 8 and 9, so it feels good to know that, I can beat most of them.
Good. Well, look, more from Jeremy in just a moment. Fancy knowing how you can watch MXGP-TV in 2019? Why not check out our MXGP-TV season mid-package, where we're now offering a full-fat 50% discount. Includes all of the first 7 rounds of MXGP, as well as every WMX and EMX round leading into this one here in Russia. You also get to choose between live or on-demand action from every round between now and the end of the season as well, including all the qualifying races, the Monster Energy Motocross Nations, WMX, and all European races as well. It's the only place to watch every second, every weekend, every race of MXGP Live. Also included is this studio show every week, our highlights program Behind the Gate, available every Tuesday after each Grand Prix. And for more info, check out our website, mxgp.com. Enjoy.
Absolutely. Well, back to Jeremy. Let's talk about 2 weeks ago in France. You seem to maintain your consistency. You were 4th in race 1, 5th overall. You were actually quite close to a third finish in that first race, weren't you?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was quite a battle going on the whole motor with those guys, you know. Romain was doing good, Arnaud again, you know. So it was a good race, you know, being 4th on Saturday already, 4th in the first moto, so pretty consistent, you know, feeling good, having good pace, good starts. The only thing, again, what costed me a bit is the second moto start, so I had to come through the pack, finishing 8th, you know. This is the only thing which is still really difficult in this class. If you see Tim Geiser, if he is having a bad start, you know, he goes through and he can still win the moto. But for me, this is still quite tough, you know. If you're 15th at the start, it's fine to finish between 8th and maybe 6th or something, you know, but to get back to the front, you need that, you know, extra kind of speed or confidence, whatever, you know. So this was a bit the struggle in the second race, you know, but I've still finished 5th overall, which is, you know, my goal. But of course, it was still that little thing which didn't, you know, make me complete happy.
What about this place here in Russia? You've obviously ridden here twice. You got 2nd overall the first year here in MX2. Got a race win as well. A place you like to come to, like a place you're looking forward to?
Yeah, to be honest, yes. I mean, I have good memories, especially in MX2 2 years ago. And of course, it was a big mother, you know, but I still enjoyed it. It's a nice place, you know, really calm. To be honest, we have a good hotel, you know, the food is fine. It's really relaxed, good people, atmosphere, you know, so the track is awesome, you know. It's just going to be difficult to keep it, you know, like dry, like not too dry, you know. So this is, yeah, going to be the key. But I love it, you know. I like these tracks. I grew up on these kind of things, and I had some good memories also from last year, so I'm looking forward to it for sure.
And it does feel a bit hotter this year, though. Maybe. I don't know. Was it this hot last year? I can't remember.
It was, but I think last year we were just used to it more.
Yeah.
Like it was just warm all year, you know, and now it's kind of, it stayed that cold for quite long, you know, so now it changed, so it feels warm.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I love this weather. Okay, some questions on social media for you. This one's from Christian46, and he says, what is your ritual before a race? I know we spoke about this the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm putting on my gear, you know. I start always with the left boot first, something like this. But this is just, yeah, like I said, because we just put our gear on that often, you know. It's just kind of a thing you do. And before the start, I have some kind of movements. I always do the same, you know, or at which time you put the goggle on, when you move your arms or do some stretching, you know, just this kind of things. But it's nothing special, you know. For the rest, I'm not doing anything crazy.
Okay. Well, second question, MX Justin. How do you rate your skills as a backyard mechanic?
I knew this one was coming.
And do you have any current or future restoration projects in mind?
An old
I'm
Jeep or
interested
something.
to know about this.
I'm going to restore an airplane, you know, 12-cylinder star engine. No. Like this winter I did, you know, I have a cheap wheelies, and that was my off time, you know. I used to mechanic a lot myself on my bikes, you know, wash them, everything, change engines. So I love it, you know.
Yeah.
I did it in the winter just to put my head on something else, and it's done now, you know, back running like new. So now in the future, I bought a trailer for it now, you know, so I think that's my next project, to get the trailer fixed.
Build a trailer.
No, it's done. It just needs to be restored, you know, and stuff like that.
I can't wait to see that plane. It's going to be brilliant, isn't it?
All right. Well, look, Jeremy, we are out of time. Thanks for joining us here today. And also good luck from now until the rest of the season as well.
Thank
Jeremy
you.
Siwa. Right. Giacomo Garibaldi is in the building. We'll talk to him in just a few moments. But before we do, let's catch the highlights from race 2 from France 2 weeks ago in MXGP. As the gates dropped for MXGP Race 2, the faces said it all over at Red Bull KTM as Kai Rowley got parked behind one of the steels. Fevre raced to his first Vauxhall shot of the season, his first since Latvia Race 2 2018, as Kai Rowley did his best to limit the damage of that poor start. He was in the thick of it. 3 Yamahas led the way on the opening lap though, but not for long. Dessau down the inside of Paulin. And then Geiser ambushed the Frenchman as well as Cairoli fell, and as he picked himself up, bikes and bodies all over the place, the Italian got railroaded by Monticelli on the standing construct KTM. It was turning out to be a nightmare race of all proportions, and once again the expression said it all. Geiser raced past Sal to move into third, as Koldenhoff went around the Belgian Van Hoorbeek to move into seventh. Cairoli was back in his stride, as up front all eyes were on the battle for the lead. Febvre led Tonus, and he in turn was ahead of Geiser, but for how much longer? The two played a little game of crisscross, and it was Geiser who scythed his way up the inside of the number 4 to get himself into second, as de Sal did his best to hang on in there in 4th place. Paulin was comfortable in 5th, but in the end, lap 9, Geiser was just too good for Febvre. He made that pass for the lead, and from there the HRC rider was in total control. Cairoli stalled. He eventually came home in 17th place. It was just one of those days for the 9-time champ, as Jasikonis also sampled the dirt. He eventually came home in 11th on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. The two Yamahas of Febvre and Tonus battled all the way to the end, but it would be the Frenchman that would just pip the Swiss. Geiser was simply sensational. He went on to win another emphatic double. Tonus was second overall with 2/3. Febvre on the podium with a 5th and a 2nd. Cairoli's lead coming in this weekend was 34 points over Geiser as we head to Russia round 8. It's now down to just 10. It is game on here now in the FIA Motocross World Championship as we head to the MXGP of Russia. The French fans saluted their hero, Romain Febvre. Another podium pie for Arnaud Tonus. But this guy here is in the ascendancy. Tim Geiser and Team HRC is a man in a hurry to lift another MXGP crown. Who will it be that stands on the top step next at round 8? And welcome back, and we are at round 8 this weekend, and of course the team owner and from Team HRC, Giacomo Garibaldi, is with us now. Welcome to our studio show here, Giacomo.
Thank you.
Just briefly, looking at the season as a whole, all 3 riders, it's difficult to equate the kind of season you're having. You have Tim Geiser sitting in 2nd, Brian Boger's trying to find his rightful position, and then you've got Calvin, who looked so promising at the start, is out injured. How frustrating has that been for you as a team manager, just briefly?
Yeah, you know, you would like to see every time your lineup complete with all 3 riders, and unfortunately in this sport doesn't happen all the time. But yes, Brian, as you said, is trying to get back to a good, decent form. We have to say that this is his first season in 450, because last year he lost completely 1 year, and so he's trying to get his mark in this class. And it's not easy for him to come back from such a big injury. And he did very well in Mantova. We were really surprised to see him fighting for the 2nd place, and this is what we wish to see. You know, maybe not 2nd place, but what we expected from him is to be top 6, 8 first season. And so far he just did a couple of times in Mantova and the previous race when he finished 9th in one moto. So honestly, we are looking for something more for him, and we hope to see something better in this race. Calvin had a very good start of the season. He was always in top 3-4 at the beginning of the season. And then when he did the fastest time lap in time practice in Arco, then he got injured, and that was really bad luck, because he was coming into very good form. He was very fast, and we expected from him to be, you know, top 3 this year. And now he's sitting out of the GPs for, I think, just this race. He'll be back for Latvia. Good. But yeah, it has been quite disappointing also not to have him, you know, in this race. Sure. On the other side, we have the very good performance of Tim, who is back to his best form, I would say.
Yeah.
Best than ever. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Tim. What crazy 3 weekends he's had. I mean, in Mantova, he struggled to stay on. He was 40 points behind, yet he arrives here 10 points off the lead and having won the past 4 races.
And this one in particular was fantastic. We have all the pass sequences here in the second race from France.
Yeah. And, you know, he's doing this so easily that you don't know when he's riding like that, you feel he has not limit, you know, he can do anything. He can pass any rider anytime he wants. And when we were walking on the podium, up to the podium in France, he said to me, you know, Giacomo, this time I really enjoyed my racing. And I said, we saw it from outside because really he was playing with the riders in front, and really he did everything so easily without any mistake. And it's nice to see him when he rides full of confidence like he's riding now. And just Mantova was a bad day because I think the weather conditions, and then probably not everybody knows he couldn't sleep all night before the race because he had problems at home, and so he arrived at the day of the race. He was not the same team that we saw in the last 4 rounds. So that's the only thing I would see from that race. Then okay, the mud, but the mud is for everybody, and but otherwise he had 3 fantastic GPs.
Well, he's actually won 7 races so far this year, which is one better than the same time in 2016, where he won 6 races from the first 7 GPs. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, honestly, I think this is the best team we ever saw. Much better than 16. Because now he's battling with Cairoli in top form, really top form. Okay, he's 34, but also I think Tony this year is giving something more to win his 10th title. So their speed is at another level from the other riders. So I think this year is beating a top rider, a champion, true champion like Tony. So I think he's best than ever.
Okay, we are getting ahead of our, we're getting behind time here. Just real quickly, I know you mentioned Brian before. What is the goal for him now? He had that second position in Mantova, but what would you hope for him now from here until the rest of the season? Just really quickly.
To see him at least in the top 10 every moto. This is what we would like to see.
Okay. Well, Calvin Florendon, 4th overall in first 3 rounds, 2nd place in race 2 in Matterley, but now he's on the sidelines. He's got quite a complicated injury. What's the latest on that?
No, he got an infection, big infection under the plates they've put and under the screws. So they just took out the screws and the plates and they clean everything. So it was not complicated, but just he needed a little bit more time to get healed completely.
But it's not ideal, is it? In
the middle of the season, no, not at all. Also because you lose a little bit of speed. The other ones are racing and you stay at home on the sofa, and it's not good in this part of the season.
Talking about Tim then, going back to the 450, it seems HRC has really stepped up its program this year. I mean, is it that from the outside, or is it a combination? Tim is now got back to his level and the development is good and the two are working well together?
Honestly, yeah, it's both are working well together. I think our 450, we kept improving the bike all the time since the winter, since last year. Then through the winter, we did many tests during this season also. And so the bike, I think now is really at the top. And we could see this in Saint-Jean. The bike was, you are a rider, and it was when you see the CRF was like a train coming into the turns, and the engine is very good because I think he passed 2 riders just in the straight in front of the pit lane. So I think it's a great combination now. Team is at the top, and the bike I think is really at the top. Okay, well look, obviously, hopefully that continues for you guys from this weekend for the rest of the season. But we do end the show on a somber note. We all found out last weekend one of our long-serving media journalists, Adriano Dondi, passed away tragically in a traffic accident. What are your memories of him? Because I know he
You and him were quite close.
Yeah. He was a friend. All the time he was coming to our tent to have a coffee, to grab a cappuccino. I remember every Sunday morning he was passing by and asking, Giacomo, can I take a cappuccino? So it's such a sad news, and really we still cannot believe that this happened. Such a nice man.
Well, here we have some images of him, but as we said, tragic news last weekend that we lost Adriano Dondi from our media centre. So the media centre, we one media crew less this weekend. Of course, he used to work at Youthstream, which is how I know him. He was around long before that, and our thoughts and prayers go to his family and friends and loved ones as well. But that's all we have time for this weekend on our MXGP show here in Russia. The first gate drop of the day is, for the MX2 qualifying race at 4:55 and MXGP qualifying at 5:40. Hope you join us for the action here today and tomorrow. We'll be back in Latvia in a week's time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.